Hello and welcome to Chabot News for May 7th, 2026. My name is Chris and today we'll be covering Hayward voter funds, the Hantavirus cruise, and King Charles visiting. In entertainment news, Amalek will tell you about a potential Apprentice reboot. And we'll also have Alexa's Top 5, and finally, in sports news, Le Mans has the latest updates on hotels selling less than expected. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News. Last week, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds team was in Vacaville to explain and discuss what their team is all about.
If you can't see it, you can't be it, and so it's very important for us to get out here, show them some opportunities that they can do in their life, and then the other piece is just answer questions, help them find a path from where they are now to eventually where they want to be, whether that's in the Air Force or just going after whatever dreams they happen to have.
The Thunderbirds always put on a stellar air show, and I'm sure they didn't disappoint the viewing public. The Alameda County schools are looking for voters to vote on June funding ballot. Voters in 3 Alameda County communities are being asked to approve new or extend existing property taxes to support local school districts in the upcoming June 2nd election. The largest of the 3, Hayward Unified School District, is asking voters to approve Measure G, a $98 parcel tax that would provide roughly $4 million annually for 12 years. Requiring 2/3 voter approval to pass, Measure G would support academic programs in reading, writing, math, art, and science, would help the district attract and retain teachers and staff, minimize layoffs, and preserve literacy programs, among other things. If approved, Measure G would provide exemptions for people 65 years and older, and certain low-income people with disabilities. King Charles and Queen Camilla came to the U.S. on an historic trip to the U.S. last week. This was the first trip to the U.S. by King Charles since he became king. Bruce Malloy has more on this story.
On 27 April, King Charles and Queen Camilla arrived at Andrews Air Force Base, just outside of D.C., for their 4-day visit.
They started their visit by having tea with President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump in an ornate room at the White House. Then they attended a garden party at the British Embassy. It's a tradition that the UK ambassador to the US hosts the garden party for royal visits. Some 600 exclusive guests were invited to the royal occasion to celebrate ties between the US and the UK. British royals avoid discussing specific policies on foreign visits, but leaders in the UK hope the visit would ease tensions between the US and the UK due to the war in Iran. The King addressed the joint session of Congress on 28 April. It's only the second time a British monarch has addressed Congress.
And so to the United States of America, on your 250th birthday, let our two countries rededicate ourselves to each other in the selfless service of our peoples and of all the peoples of the world. God bless the United States, and God bless the United Kingdom.
In his speech, the King reminded lawmakers that words and actions from American leaders carry global weight and meaning. He also told Congress that the U.S. and British resolve, proven through 2 world wars, is now needed in defending Ukraine and its people, who Charles referred to as, quote, most courageous. Charles went on to reaffirm the relationship between the two nations as the U.S. marks its 250th birthday. The address is a key part of a 4-day state visit by the King and Queen Camilla.
Reporting on the King's visit to Washington, D.C., I'm Bruce Malloy for Chabot TV.
Thanks for that report, Bruce. The King and Queen wrapped up their visit to the U.S. in Virginia after visiting the 9/11 Memorial in New York City. Once they left the U.S., they traveled to Bermuda, part of the British Commonwealth. The Justice Department is asking a federal judge to reverse a ruling to halt construction on the White House Ballroom. Work on the ballroom is currently the subject of a legal battle. The National Trust for Historic Preservation sued to stop it. A federal court judge has issued rulings that say President Donald Trump needs authorization from Congress to complete it. The new filing cites Saturday night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner as justification the ballroom is needed. It claims such an incident could not take place in the new ballroom because it would be too secure. The dinner where the shooting happened did not take place at the White House. It was at the Washington Hilton, which has hosted the event for more than 50 years. As Cuba celebrated May Day with a large pro-government march, U.S. President Donald Trump quipped about taking over the island. He joked about the military moving on the country on their way back from Iran. This comes as Cuba faces an energy crisis and scaled back its May Day events. CNN's Patrick Ottman reports.
So May Day is usually one of the biggest pro-government marches you see in Cuba each year. This year, it's have to be stripped down. It's much less people than you usually see because of the severe energy crisis that is taking place on this island at this moment. The United States has been preventing, for the most part, all fuel from arriving to Cuba. And so you see less cars on the street, longer and longer blackouts. And that is why, instead of doing this march in the Revolution Square here, which can fit up to 1 million people, we're in front of the U.S. Embassy because the government here has been calling on the U.S. to lift this energy blockade. For the Trump administration, though, it's quite a different story. They're saying that Cuba needs to open up economically and politically, that this island is being mismanaged and has been open to the enemies of the United States to set up a foothold just 90 miles from the United States. And so the tensions continue to rise here. What Cubans tell us, at least the pro-government Cubans here at an event like this one, is that they're willing to die to defend their country, and that no matter what the Trump administration demands of this government, that they are going to resist. Patrick Ottman, CNN, Havana.
Thank you for that report, Patrick. 3 cruise ship passengers have died in a suspected Hantavirus outbreak. The company that operates the ship is saying 149 passengers are on board, including 17 Americans. 2 Dutch nationals and 1 German national are among the dead. Other passengers are being quarantined on the ship until health officials work to assess the deadly situation. Sherelle Hubbard has more.
A dream cruise from Argentina to Cape Verde, an island nation off the coast of West Africa, has turned into a nightmare. According to Oceanwide Expeditions, the company that operates the ship, MV Handius, 3 of its passengers are dead and several more are sick. The suspected culprit, a viral outbreak.
Hantavirus is a family of viruses that's found really all over the world, but only in rare circumstances does it make it into humans.
Hantavirus can spread to humans through contact with infected rodent droppings, urine, or saliva. One type can transmit from person to person, but it's rare.
Disease investigators will be looking for that as a possible source, possibly looking into the excursions, really just trying to understand where these passengers might have come in contact with the virus.
The World Health Organization said Monday, quote, "The risk to the wider public remains low. There is no need for panic or travel restrictions." Still, experts are puzzled as to how the disease might have spread on the cruise ship.
This could really change the future of travel medicine and infectious disease and tropical medicine, because we now have to add this list to something that could come in and rip through a cruise ship.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Thank you for that report, Sherelle. The cruise ship is anchored near the capital of Cape Verde, where authorities say they are monitoring the situation. According to the World Health Organization, 1 hantavirus case has been confirmed with 5 more suspected cases under investigation. The Supreme Court temporarily restored male access to an abortion drug on Monday. Its decision on an emergency appeal comes after a lower circuit court Friday stopped telehealth and mail order access to mifepristone. That court issued the order because it decided Louisiana was likely to win its case, which would require an in-person exam before prescribing the drug. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito has now blocked that due to potential confusion among patients already in the process of accessing it. His order is temporary, but stands for at least a week. During that time, the justices will review emergency appeals filed by manufacturers of the medication. Mifepristone has been approved by the FDA since 2000. Serious complications are very rare, and the FDA has considered it safe enough to prescribe through telehealth since 2023. Now to entertainment news with Malik.
Thank you, Chris. Amazon's reportedly considering a reboot of The Apprentice with Donald Trump Jr. at the helm. According to the Wall Street Journal, discussions of a possible reboot are in the early stages, and the Trump family hasn't been approached about it yet. Amazon told The Hollywood Reporter any talk of a reboot or potential hosts are purely speculative at this point, but said that since Amazon purchased MGM, there have been discussions about what's next for the Apprentice brand. Donald Trump hosted the reality show for 14 seasons until 2015. Amazon MGM already put its name behind another Trump venture, the documentary on Melania Trump. The company spent $75 million on Melania. The film has so far grossed about $16 million. Tuesday, the FCC filed an order requiring ABC-owned television stations to renew their broadcast licenses early. The action only impacts the 8 ABC stations owned by Disney. Disney has until May 28th to file the renewals. It's an extraordinary move because the licenses aren't due for renewal for several years. The FCC claims the early renewal requests are part of a probe into Disney's DEI practices. Disney responded to the order saying ABC and its stations are in full compliance with FCC rules. Most of the hundreds of ABC stations around the country aren't owned by other media companies, but Disney owns some of the biggest in cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. This has been Malik. Back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Malik. In Michigan, there's a new and simpler solution aimed to better protect the Great Lakes. Faraz Javid took a trip to one Detroit workshop that's teaching how rain barrels can reduce backyard flooding.
At the Gabriel Richard Park along the Detroit riverfront, a simple solution is making waves in the fight to protect our Great Lakes.
How does this barrel work?
So you're going to find a site in your backyard, you're going to find a gutter, and then each one comes with our 2x3 flex elbow, and you're going to cut your gutter and just basically point it at the top of the barrel.
The founder of My Rain Barrel, Joshua Rubin, and his team transform Greek olive barrels into these 58-gallon rain collectors.
We really wanted to connect Detroiters to the riverfront while also promoting that environmental stewardship piece.
Detroit Riverfront Conservancy's Cameron Gardner says these hands-on workshops showcase benefits that extend beyond saving money on water bills.
It can reduce your flooding in your backyards and also be a great resource for things like if you have a community garden and want to reduce your water intake.
The mission is to help prevent excess stormwater from running into the Great Lakes, because during heavy rainfall, our sewer systems are overflowing.
Joshua has installed over 2,000 rain barrels in Macomb County alone. According to the EPA, contaminated storm water runoff impairs water quality in approximately 30,000 miles of rivers nationwide.
Rain barrels are not new by any means. Most of our grandmothers had them in the backyard. It's a good practice to harvest rainwater.
Have you got a rain barrel at your home?
So I actually helped set my mom up with a community rain barrel, and she has been using it for her garden, and it's just been a great experience to see that sustainable lifestyle kind of become a part of her everyday nature.
Rain barrels are available through My Rain Barrels website. Plus, Joshua says Oakland County residents can receive $200 rebates through the Rain Smart program.
You can see your garden's going to be growing greener, lusher, because the water's soft water. The water from your hose has minerals in it, it's harsher, it's heavier.
And besides the environmental benefits and saving money, Joshua says your plants will thank you too.
Thanks, Faraz. According to the MI Rain Barrel website, a do-it-yourself kit will cost nearly $250. The next workshop is scheduled for May 16th in Dearborn. Coming up, we have sports news with Lamond.
Thanks, Chris. You may remember showing off how many sit-ups you could do or being humiliated as your friends watched you try to achieve a single pull-up. Either way, the presidential fitness test is back in schools. President Donald Trump celebrated his executive order to reinstate the test with an event at the White House Tuesday. Professional golfer Bryson DeChambeau was on hand to give putting tips, and Trump watched school children perform some of the exercises on the test. Like push-ups, the presidential fitness test was a staple in American schools the second half of the 20th century. Former President Barack Obama phased it out in 2012 in favor of a program that focused more on long-term health. President Donald Trump signed his executive order to bring back the test in July of last year. The FIFA World Cup kicks off just weeks from now, and U.S. hotels are facing a problem. New data from the American Hotel and Lodging Association released Monday shows bookings are running below projections in most host cities. In some places like Kansas City, demand is even lower than a typical summer. The industry group points fewer international travelers and large room block cancellations by FIFA. Officials also cite concerns about the visa delays, costs, and travel to the U.S. There are also some bright spots, including Atlanta and Miami, where bookings are meeting or exceeding expectations. FIFA says it still expects record attendance for the tournament. That's it for sports. Now back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Lamond. 7 candidates face off Tuesday night in what might be the most hotly contested midterm seat. Up for grabs is the governor's mansion in the most populous state, California. The Golden State has what's known as a jungle primary, meaning both Democrats and Republicans compete on the same ticket. That presents an interesting situation for one of the bluest states in the nation. There is no clear Democratic frontrunner since former Representative Eric Swalwell dropped out last month amid sexual assault allegations. The 5 Democratic candidates could theoretically split their party's vote so evenly that 2 Republicans advance to the general election. That unlikely but possible scenario would guarantee a Republican governor. California's primary is June 2nd. And here we have this week's Top 5 with Alexa.
Thanks, Chris. I love music, but what I love even more than music are the videos artists put out for their songs. For my top 5, I'll be ranking my favorite music videos. I thought it'd be a good idea to mention some that were close to making it to the list, like Gabriella by Cat's Eye, Back to Life by Antiem, Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, and Spaghetti by La Seraphim. And now, onto my actual top 5. At number 5, I have Saucin' by Longshot. The video itself is mostly of the 4 members in different sets doing some of their choreography, but what really caught my eye were the animations and graphics that are shown throughout the video. I haven't seen any other music videos like this, and the mixed media is really cool to watch. At number 4, I have Adrenaline by ATEEZ. The production on this music video is insane. Unlike the other videos on my list, there's no straight story to it, but its visuals and camera work alone are what helped it make it into my top 5. This music video's camera shots are super cool to watch. The transitions from each member throughout the video were done so smoothly that you can't help but want to rewatch it multiple times. Coming in at number 3 is Megan Thee Stallion's video for BoA. When the teaser for this music video first came out, I knew that I was going to love it. The music video is on a trio of gamers that play a video game called The Curse of the Serpent, with Megan as the main character. It ends up being similar to Jumanji, except Megan goes on to kill all 3 gamers based on the levels that they are playing and die in the game. Her bunny outfit in this music video is one of my favorite looks of hers. At number 2 is Sabrina Carpenter's music video for Tears. As part of a larger overall story, Tears picks up where Man-Child leaves off. Sabrina stumbles into a haunted-looking house to seek shelter after crashing her car, where she is pulled into the mystically sensual world of the house, owned by Coleman Domingo. The coloring, costumes, and sets are what helped this video get so high on my list. The multiple endings of the music video were so fun to watch in real time, and I thank everyone involved for making this video a reality. Now, I know that I just gave a really high praise to my number 2 video, but my number 1 music video is Killin' It by P1 Harmony. Anyone who knows me knows that P1 Harmony is my all-time favorite group, so it's no brainer that one of their music videos are number 1. P1 Harmony has a group concept of being heroes, and in this music video, they are announcing to the world that they are the ones to save it, officially making their in-universe debut. The sets, the colors, the visuals, the story, everything that has to do with this music video has a special place in my heart and never disappoints. If you ever get a chance to sit down and watch these music videos, please do. They're great. Trust me. I've been Alexa Castillo, and that was my top 5. Now back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Alexa. The world's largest steam train is heading east to help celebrate America's 250th birthday. Union Pacific's Big Boy, number 4014, begins the eastern leg of its trip in late May. The historic train will visit 10 states. Events are planned in 8 cities, including a 4th of July celebration in Philadelphia. This will be the first time Big Boy has crossed the Mississippi River and into the Ohio Valley since it was built in New York and delivered to Union Pacific Railroad in 1941. You can go online at upsteam.com to find the dates, times, and locations to see Big Boy. Archaeologists in Egypt have unearthed a mummy with a literary passage from Homer's Iliad stuck to its abdomen. This is the first time such a discovery has been made. The mummy was found during a dig in the ancient city of Oxyrhynchus and is believed to be about 1,600 years old. Other mummies in the area have been found with sealed packages containing paper in what seems to be a ritual related to the embalming process. However, this is the first time a literary text has been discovered. Researchers say they didn't realize until now that such passages were used in funeral ceremonies. Another unusual find in the area, 3 of the mummies had gold foil on their tongues. Researchers say that may have signified they were wealthy enough to pay for the embalming process. A class action lawsuit has been filed against the Italian food brand for allegedly mislabeling its canned tomatoes. The May 4th complaint claims Cento Fine Foods misleads customers by advertising its tomatoes are certified San Marzano and charging customers a premium for them. The complaint quotes marthastewart.com, which says San Marzano refers to both a type of tomato and the San Marzano region of Italy it's grown in. The tomatoes are protected designation of origin certified by the European Union. Certified tomatoes have the DOP seal. 2 customers in the lawsuit allege that Cento does not have the proper certification. Therefore, its tomatoes are not authentic San Marzanos. Cento denies the claims in a statement to ABC's Good Morning America. It cites that it has an independent third party approve the tomatoes and that a similar lawsuit over its labeling practices was dismissed in 2020. National park officials are asking for help to find whoever is responsible for dozens of dead birds. Last month, rangers discovered 33 dead black vultures in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. They believe someone dumped them there. The birds are federally protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Harming or killing them is illegal, as is dumping anything in a national park. The National Park Service wants to hear from anyone with dashcam video or photos taken on April 6th along Foothills Parkway West. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channels 27 on Comcast for more Chabot TV.